Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Asim. I'm working as DevOps engineer. Guys, in this video, we are going to see how we can reduce our Kubernetes logging cost. I'm going to use AWS EKS, but this video is not relevant to only AWS EKS. You can set up this logic on any cloud, or you can set up this on your local Kubernetes or on-premises environment as well. So what I've done, I've already spin up the AWS EKS cluster 1.25, which is the latest release. And this is the three node cluster, right? And we have this one domain which we are going to use. And we are going to set up, first of all, Elasticsearch cluster, and we are going to use the Bitnami. So how we can reduce our Elasticsearch cost, for instance, we need to do the logging. In past, I've already created a video with regard to that, and in that particular video, what I've done, I've set up the AWS managed um, cluster, right, which is regarding the Elasticsearch. But the problem is that you can't reduce your cost because it is very expensive. So what we are going to do, we have already spin up the Kubernetes cluster, we have already set up the infra. So what we are going to do, instead of using that cluster, right, we are going to set up our own cluster for logging, and even that cluster you can use for your application as well. But this particular demo is with regard to the logging. So I just need to show you this part, and other part is that I've already spin up my EKS cluster with AWS managed modules, and I've used the blueprints. So with regard to that particular demo, I've already created a videos. I'm not going to cover that part because definitely that I've covered in my previous section. So simply, if you navigate to my channel and just type blue, so you will see some of the stuff regarding the EKS blueprints. So I should type. EKS, right? And this is a complete um, playlist regarding that. And if you just click it, right, you will see stuff regarding the
अगर दांत ब्रश करते हुए
EKS
खून नजर आता है
blueprint,
तो
right?
आप कैसा टूथपेस्ट चूज करेंगे? नए पैराडॉन्टेक्स का
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammed Asim. I'm working as DevOps engineer. So let me pause that, and if you scroll it down, you see this is the EKS blueprint. So even you can get this video by clicking this channel, and in the video section I've added this EKS blueprints. So simply you can see, if you want to see the whole playlist, you can do that, and if you want to see the particular video with regard to the blueprints, I covered that, and I've covered IAM users and groups, the OIDC authentication, right? So let's start the demo, right? Okay, now what we are going to do as our Elasticsearch cluster is spin up with this version. Our load balancer controllers are spin up. We are going to use the Ingress. So let me show you the balance controller, because we are going to use the application load balancer. So in the cube system, you will see these load balancer controller are already spin up. What it does, it is going to spin up the application load balancer for us. So I've created already a repository for you guys. In that particular repository, you have master, but you have to navigate to this logging branch. And here we have already spin up this part Terraform, right, through EKS blueprints. And if I navigate to the log section, you will see two directories, Elasticsearch and Fluent Bit. What we are going to do, we need to have Elasticsearch cluster ready. So what I've done, I've already cloned this repo. You need to simply clone this repo, and I'm in the logging branch, you see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to navigate to the log section, and in the log section, I need to navigate to this section. So in this log section, I'm going to show you some of the parts. So if I click this guy, logs, Elasticsearch, and in this we have the values.yml file. I'm going to show you the values.yml file, and also I'm going to open the commands.txt. So this is the official Bitnami Elasticsearch repo. You can read all the documentation, what extra arguments you need to have, but we are going to set up just enough arguments to set up our Elasticsearch cluster. So if you start from the scratch, because this Helm chart has a dependency, and dependency is Kibana because we have enabled true. And what you need to do, simply once you add the repo Helm, you need to run this command Helm dependency build. What it does, it is going to let me show you that it is going to download this particular chart, which is the Kibana chart. And if you navigate to the logs, Elasticsearch, and charts, this dependency Kibana is going to be downloaded. For this demo, we are going to use the version of Elasticsearch um, 7.17.8. So let me show you the values.yml. And once after this demonstration, we are going to apply that particular Helm chart, right? So uh, this is the old default setting, what I have updated here. So let me show you that part. And if you scroll it down, right? And as I discussed, this is the part I have updated. For instance, we need this tag. So this is the version of Elasticsearch we are going to use for this demo. We are going to spin up, and we are going to access this particular Elasticsearch cluster in Kibana over HTTPS. And if you scroll it down, you will see the ingress part. I've set it up true. And this is the domain name which we are going to use. Currently, this Elasticsearch cluster is not exposed, right? And these are the annotation with regard to the application load balancer. I mean, I've also covered this in my previous video with regard to the application load balancer in guest controller. So this is the ARN of the certificate, right? And one thing I need to show you that this section is important regarding the security perspective. This is the application public load balancer. So if you want to access only from your VPC, you can set up the internal ALB. But for this demo, I'm going to use the public load balancer, but it is also restricted to my VPN. Regarding the VPN, I've already have videos regarding the PyTunnel and OpenVPN to set up in Docker. You can watch that particular video from my video section, right? So you can say that this is my um, VPN IP. So, and also if you want, you can allow the NAT gateway IP. So if you want to access the Elasticsearch over HTTPS, or you want to give access to your client or from your VPC over to public one, you can do that. But I do recommend to set up the ALB, internal ALB ingress regarding that particular access, because the traffic is going to be internal, and you will see high security and low latency, right? So anyway, this part is with regard to that. And when you set up the ALB ingress controller, the default class is going to be ALB. So let me show you that if I navigate to this section, so ingress classes, you see this class is already populated, right? And the other stuff with regard to that is actually I need to add extra rules, and this is the Kibana rule. So Kibana is going to be available on this port. So let's try to access that. So what it is going to do, so let's try that. It is going to create two target groups. One is going to be the Elasticsearch, and the other is going to be the Kibana target group, and it is going to provision the application load balancer. So, and that access of Kibana is going to be only available on my VPN, or you can allow any public IP as well. Might be your on-premises IP, right? So let's begin. And currently, I am in the logging section. So I am in this particular directory, right? So what I need to do, I need to simply copy this command. And this command is with regard to the installation of Elasticsearch cluster. So it is going to create namespace logging if it is not there, right? And the values is going to be values.yml, which is what I've already shown you guys. So we are updating some of the stuff here, but it is already updated in that values.yml. So if the different version is there, it is going to take these values because we are overriding the values in the values.yml, right? And we are going to use 100 gigs disk space as this is the demo, right? So what it does, it is going to create 6 disks with the master data nodes and the coordinator nodes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply copy this guy right till here, and let me do that. So just double check if everything is okay, and let me paste this particular command. So let's try to paste it and press enter. So it is going to install that particular chart, and the chart name is going to be Elastic. So if I navigate to my lens section. So with regard to the lens, I've already created video. This is a very useful and powerful tool to manage your Kubernetes cluster. So if you navigate to the releases section and if you navigate to this logging section, this namespace has been created, and what it does, it is going to create a chart with the name Elastic. So it is in the installation phase. So if I navigate to the pod section, you will see some of the pod are going to be spin up. In fact, yes, pods are in pending state. This cluster will take about 2 to 3 minutes, right? And once done, you will see that all pods will be in green state. Although you are seeing that these all pods except this one, which is the Kibana, is in pending because it has a dependency of Elasticsearch. So it is in running state, but you see the status is green because the cluster formation is not begin. It will take, as I told you, about 2 to 4 minutes. So what it does, it is these are the stateful sets, and you see this is the replica set. So if you navigate to the deployment, we have deployment Elasticsearch Kibana, and if I navigate to the stateful section, stateful set, you will see these are the stateful set, and the stateful set has a persistent volume attached. So if I navigate or scroll down, you will see the storage section, right? And the persistent volumes are going to be 100 gigs, right? These are actually bound, which means the it has been identified, and the Elasticsearch Kibana is going to be 10 gigs. Definitely, you can update these according these values or sizes of Elastic block storage according to your needs, right? And the other thing I would show you regarding the services, navigate to the network section services, right? And you see these are the services you see are populated. For instance, if you click this guy, this is the Elasticsearch service in the namespace logging. You see annotation and everything regarding that. So if I navigate back to this pod section, some of the stuff already turned green, which means almost our Elasticsearch in a good shape. So if I navigate to the section um, instances, right, you need to scroll it down. Load balancer should be provisioning. So if I click this guy and you see it has just provision and it is in active state. And what it does, it is going to set up the two target groups. One target group is with regard to the Elasticsearch and other is going to be the Kibana. So you see this Kibana is in green state, and also if I navigate to the target group, let me scroll it down. So okay, sorry, clicked on, I should click on the second one. And the other target group is regarding um, the net 200 port, which is of Elasticsearch, right? So now we are going to do, we need to make one entry. Further, I need to show you that I've also added, we are going to use AWS Managed Search. I do recommend to use the AWS Managed Search because it is going to automatically renewed. So, and it will provide you the wildcard certificates. That's the coolest thing. So if you navigate to the certificate manager, you see this is the domain we are using, and the certificate has been issued. So what I need to do, I'm going to click this guy and I'm going to add alias record. I'm not going to add a CNAME record, although CNAME is also work, but AWS do recommend to use the alias record because they have integrated the failover capability in that automatically. So I do recommend to use the alias record, and I'm going to add the name Kibana of that particular name. So this name must match that particular rule which we have added regarding the ingress. So let me open this guy, and I'm going to navigate to the section application load balancer. Select your region, US East one, and you will see that your load balancer is going to be populated here. Select this guy, create record, and this propagation will take about 1 to 5 minutes. You have to wait for a while. Till then, I'm going to show you the records. For instance, if I navigate to the load balancer, sorry, load balancer section, and let me show you two ports. So click this guy, right? And you see the two listeners there, 80 and 443, and you need to click this guy, and this is the new UI, and you will see the rules. So you see these are the rules. So these are the settings, and if you click the rules details, you will see that host rule. For instance, this Elasticsearch I've added here, we have provided in the values.yaml file. It is going to route to that particular target group, and the second rule is going to be with regard to the Kibana. So we have already done that. So any traffic come from this URL should go to the Kibana. So let's try to test whether it has been populated or not. So yes, it has been populated, and you see we are accessing our Kibana from our VPN to this section, right? So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check the status of monitoring and dismiss. Okay, navigate to the section. Let me navigate to, okay, click the monitoring section, and first of all see the health of our Elasticsearch. Everything seems to be okay in green state, and you see our 10 nodes, because it's the 3 nodes cluster. One thing I need to update you, it is showing 10 nodes because we have these coordinator node, Elasticsearch master node, and ingest nodes, data nodes. So it has mount those particular block storage in the stateful sets. So that's why you need, that's why it's showing these 10 nodes with the specific volumes you see. So anyway, this part is with regard to the Elasticsearch and Elasticsearch and Kibana. We can also access Elasticsearch from the UI, but it is currently secure, as I shown you that you need to make one entry regarding the Elasticsearch, but we don't need that to process our logs. Let me show you that. And okay, this part is done. Let me close this section. Now we are moving towards the main part of our video. And this is also actually main part, but we are going to send logs to our Elasticsearch cluster through Fluent Bit, and we are going to create these manifest files. So this is going to be the simple service account, right? In the namespace logging, you can select any namespace, but definitely you need to then update the manifest file. So I've added all the important URLs and settings what you need to do, but by following this URL documentation, you don't need to do anything. So we are going to cover the stuff what we have. So we are going to use that particular service account. We are going to create a cluster role, and we are going to do the cluster role binding. And in that binding, we are going to use that particular service account, which we are going to, which is created in the main file, right? So we have service account, cluster role, and cluster role binding. So that is pretty basic stuff regarding the access. So we have config file with regard to the Fluent Bit, and as I discussed, I have shared all the settings or links in the above. You can watch those. So in this particular Fluent Bit configuration file, these are the files which we have added. So this is the basic settings, and we are adding all these three files below. For instance, these are the configuration files. For instance, and these are the Kubernetes configuration files. So these are the paths which it is going to look for the containers. And in this path, you will see these are actually symboling to other directories. So let me show you some of the stuff. For instance, node, if you navigate to the nodes, and I'm going to take a shell into one of the nodes. So click this guy, take a shell, right? And I just want to show you some of the stuff uh, for your knowledge as well. So if we navigate to this, sorry, navigate to the logs, right? CD, oh, just a minute. Okay, okay, sorry, it's a typo here. It should be var log. If I do ls here, and if I navigate to the containers, and if I do ll here, and you will see these are actually symlinks pointing towards the var log pods. If I do cd into var log pods, var log pods. One thing I need to update you in the 1.25 version, the container runtime is the container D instead of Docker. So if you run this command docker ps, it is not going to find the Docker, right? And in the previous version, you will see that Docker is going to be available. So anyway, these are the directories where our Fluent Bit is going to see the logs. So one thing I need to update here regarding the settings. For instance, I've added one of the settings for um, create logging exclude. By default, it is on. I turned it on. By default, is it this is off, right? So what is mean by that? For instance, I don't want to send extra bit of logs of Fluent Bit to my Elasticsearch cluster, and it is going to populate all the logs because it is going to continuously throw all the logs. So regarding that, what you need to do, you need to, for instance, you need to turn it on and scroll it down. You need to add one annotation regarding the blockage of any pods which you don't want to send the logs to Elasticsearch. So I don't want to send Elasticsearch, I mean logs of Fluent Bit logs to Elasticsearch. So you need to add that particular annotation. I've done that. You will not see the logs which is going to be continuously populated by the Fluent Bit to the Elasticsearch, right? So I've turned it on, and rest of the setting you can see what you want to do. You can do that from the as you can see from the official documentation. It is using the tail plugin, right? And it is going to parse all the metrics from these particular directories and put this flb.cube. So one thing I need to update you, these are the filters, and these are the parser. You can read detail configuration. And regarding the output.conf, which is actually, if you see, also included here as well. So this is our Elasticsearch host. And this is the name of the service I've already shown you. If you navigate to the section networking services, so this is the name of the service, and in dot logging mean it is going to use this namespace. If you're setting up your Fluent Bit in different namespace, you need to update the namespace. So that's why I specifically mentioned that. And it is going, this is a service, and it is going to be in the cluster or local, right? So what it is going to do, it is going to create Kubernetes underscore index, right? And these are the basic stuff. Daemon set means it is going to launch one pod on every container. You can definitely change the replica if you want to change the replica to two. It is going to spin up two pods on each node. So where it is going to actually collect logs from these directories from the host machine, right? And the image we are actually using here, let me show you that part. This is the latest image of Fluent Bit we are going to use. This is the tested image from my side, so it is working very fine. So anyway, what we are going to do after this demonstration, let me navigate to the section CD back to this Fluent Bit, and simply I'm going to apply these settings. So to apply these file kubectl apply -f in this particular directory. So you will see if you navigate to this section and if you navigate to the pods, you will see that two pods are going to spin up. Change this guy. You see 6 seconds ago, Fluent Bit pods actually has been spin up. These are actually, you see, type is daemon set, which means that on 3 nodes we have these launched on these nodes. So I'm going to see the logs of these guys. So you will see the logs with regard to that and some of the settings. So okay, and let me open the stuff in the VS Code and click this guy. I've already cloned this repo, so click the Fluent Bit and in the fluentbit.yaml, right? So let me scroll up. So I've done some of the testing with regard to the changes in these files. So for instance, you see skip lines or turn off, or you can on. You can do different test different settings and play with it. So okay, and regarding the index, okay, so okay, I've done a typo here, push the changes. So it is going to be Kubernetes index. So let me update this Kubernetes. So what we are going to do, and we are going to simply apply the stuff, reapply the stuff, and navigate back to our section. And simply, I'm going to update these guys. So remove these pods. It is going to spin up again, right? And let me take a logs into that. Now what we are going to do, we are going to navigate to this section and in the Elasticsearch, um, okay, it's stack management, right? And in stack management, Kibana index patterns. So I'm going to create index. So let me do that. So previously what I've done some of the testing. So let me remove the previous stuff. So okay, close this guy. So just try to refresh it and okay, create index. You see, this one we are going to use this one updated one, and if I do uber, okay, and let me copy this guy. Okay, create index. Okay, if I navigate to the discover section, so it will take some time. Till then, I'm going to pause the video. So guys, seems to be one issue. Let's try. I've deleted the old indexes. Let me try to recreate it. And this time I'm going to create with K star. Let's try to do that. And let's see what happens. So you see now fields has been populated, right? And if I navigate to the discover section, right? So we have some logs available, right? And one thing I just want to show you, for instance, what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the time, and if I change the time to 1 minute, you should not see any logs. So update, you see every field is has been gone, right? So what I'm going to do, let's say in the default namespace, I've spin up Nginx and Redis. So let's try to generate some logs by deleting those, right? And let me delete this stuff, Nginx. So let's see. So I've deleted the Nginx and let me refresh it. So you see this container name Nginx has been deleted, and you will see all the stuff here in that section. So if you click this section, you will see and the logs as well with regard to that Kubernetes host on which it was running in the default namespace, and these are the logs you see. So and also if you keep refreshing it, so we are watching the logs only with regard to the application instead of uh, if you disable that particular field which I've shown you, for instance, the annotation, you will see a lot of logs are going to be populated with regard to the Fluent Bit. And these sort of logs, we don't want it. For instance, it's not going to able to send the chunks, whatever info and all the stuff. Some of the heavy chunks, it is unable to send. So now what I'm going to do, let me, you see, after 1 minute, those logs are gone. So let me get rid of this Nginx as well. So let me do that. So once this gone, some of the logs are going to be generated, you see, by Redis. So you see how quickly these are populated in our Elasticsearch cluster. And let's see, let's try to see some of the logs. So if you click this guy, you see Redis, and you see saving the finest RDB snapshot before exiting. So you see some of the logs are populated, and that is how we can easily monitor our application log. Whatever we have spin up in any namespace is going to be available. So if you keep refreshing it, I just wanna show you the latest stuff. So that's why I turned this to 1 minute, and after 1 minute, 1 minute, these logs are going to be available. So you see all the fields are populated, and these are a lot field, and you have a lot more detail regarding your pods, host machine. You can see a lot of stuff. For instance, if I click the pod name, you see the Redis is there. So let me spin up one uh, pod here. So let me do that. So if I do kubectl run Redis, and the image, I just wanna um, run this image Redis Alpine, and in the namespace default, by default it is going to use default, but I would like always to specify the namespace as well. So instead of images, I should type the image. So let's do that. So it has created, you see, I'm not sure regarding the Alpine, it is there Alpine. So I should be able to see some of the stuff shortly regarding that particular, you see, guy. So we have spin up new application in the default namespace. You see container name is this one, and you see it is taking this image from the Redis Alpine. So you can see all the details and the logging with regard to the application in this particular Elasticsearch. So guys, this is how you can reduce your logging cost by simply spinning up highly available Elasticsearch cluster in the in your existing Kubernetes. So this is what we have spin up in the logging namespace. And definitely, if you want to access that particular Elasticsearch, you can make an entry. So let me quickly show you how you can do that. So what you need to do, simply navigate to this section and add a one record, because the rules are already added, and we are going to type Elasticsearch, and this is going to be available on our VPN, right? So as I discussed, if you want to only use internally from the VPC, you should use the internal load balancer controller. But if you want to use this particular guy from VPC, you need to add that gateway, NAT gateway IP address, right? So public application from private hosted zone, private subnets are going to access through NAT gateway and access that particular Elasticsearch cluster. So similar way, we are going to use the application load balancer type US East 1, right? So let me do that. And this is the load balancer, same load balancer we are going to use. So if you see our Elasticsearch cluster is going to be available on HTTPS as well. So let me simply copy this guy, and you can send HTTPS request to your Elasticsearch cluster. So, okay, simply type HTTP. It is going to redirect to uh, Elasticsearch cluster. So, propagation will take time, and let me navigate back to this guy, check the spelling. But definitely, as I discussed, propagation took some time. Elasticsearch, right? So also you need to check from the values.yml, navigate back to the section and check the spellings as well. Okay, and in the values.yml, navigate to this section. Make sure you have the correct domain applied. So simply remove these stuff, and you see that this is the right domain. So definitely after some time we should be able to see our Elasticsearch cluster available, and we have to wait for a while, right? And you can check the propagation. You can type what is my DNS.net, so you can check through the command line as well, nslookup, and you can use these command as well. So currently propagation is not happen. Okay, so let me check spelling. Everything seems to be okay. So that's why you are unable to see. Okay, might be I'm doing some typos here. So okay, this is a typo. Elasticsearch R is actually missing. So if in case of any spelling mistake, it will not route that guy. So elastic SCR R is missing. So let me update this guy, right? And so simply click this guy, and I should be able to see my application. So this time propagation will take time. So because of the wrong spelling, those are populated. And let me update this guy, because in case of any mistake, you will not able to see in the application. So Elasticsearch, right? Just refresh it, wait for a while. You see, currently propagations actually happen in some of the countries, and you will see that what areas are those. So once it's propagated to my area, and I should be able to see my Elasticsearch cluster, because I've allowed my IP in this Elasticsearch cluster. So guys, till then, I'm going to wait. I will be back shortly. So anyway, guys, you will see the HTTPS is going to be available on my Elasticsearch. Propagation will take some time. So if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. This is the whole video with regard to our Elasticsearch logging, and this is the access stuff. You can definitely see the Elasticsearch available on your um, provided IP addresses, public IP addresses, which you allowed in the ALB ingress. So that's it. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. Thank you.